Hello everyone and welcome back to Crash Bandicoot on the Sony PlayStation 1, and today we're gonna take on the craziest son around, the mighty Riparooo. I don't know what kind of voice that was, but Riparooo is an interesting boss fight. Basically he's gonna bounce from platform to platform and he always goes in a set pattern. And what you want to do is you need to jump on these big TNT boxes and make them explode when he's jumping nearby them. And basically all this boss fight is a giant timing game where you just don't go in his path. He always goes in the exact same path, so basically before you go to attack him, learn his path, learn his rhythm, and attack him whenever you think possible. And if you're wondering what happened there, I ran off the platform in the back. Depth perception. Yeah, it's very easy to die in a stage because you can't tell where you are, and I was very lucky I hurt him. Basically, just keep jumping on the boxes. There's two ways you can really go about doing this. You can either time the jumps on each of the TNTs to blow them up, or you can do things the way I used to do it and just jump on random boxes. Don't do that way. Now when he's on his third phase, he's basically going to go into a triangular motion. And the best way to really deal with him when he's in this motion is to stay on a center platform, which I'm not doing now because I'm being an idiot, and just boop the nearest TNT to where he's going to land, and there you go. Riparooo is no more. Again, he's actually quite an easy boss fight, but I used to have so much trouble fighting him when I was younger, and I know loads of people that used to have trouble fighting him, so just stay calm and don't run off the platform. It actually did take me quite a few tries as well. I think it took me like 3 lives. Anyway, this is the new level type introduced in this world, one of them at least, the Lost City levels. And they're basically giant cities that are overgrown with a lot of roots, a lot of foliage. And they also got a lot of lizard-based enemies, like that guy there. Now the lizard enemies you can't normally spin, because, well, you just can't spin. The only way you can kill them is by jumping on them. And they also get introduced to these bat enemies. Now these bat enemies, you can spin, but they basically serve as a bridge. There's 2 bats usually in an area, and they will send a trail of younger bats flying in a set pathway. So what you want to do is basically kill the first bat, wait for the second series of bats to go past, then run across quickly, wait for the perfect time, and kill the second bat. And don't do what I did. I should have waited there, and I shouldn't have got pushed by that platform. But hey, them's the breaks. So yeah, basically you need to be careful. You need to time your jumps. And the main reason why this game is actually so difficult a game is because my playstyle. Seriously, my playstyle makes this game a lot harder than it would normally. How? Well, I'm more of a fast player. I like to play games quite speedily, and this game rewards patience. I'm not a patient person, so naturally whenever I play this game I'm rushing through things, and it's just more frustrating than it needs to be because I don't take my time. But anyway, we're also introduced to these new type of platforms by here that will move in and out every second. Basically, just wait, time your jumps, and it'll be easy enough to do. These are standard platforming elements you've probably seen 1,000,001 times at this point. And to be fair, this Crash Bandicoot doesn't really do anything new with what it does, apart from 1 or 2 elements, like this exclamation mark box by here, which basically makes a bunch of invisible boxes visible. But apart from that, there's not really too much in this game that hasn't been seen before in a platformer. But what makes this game really good is the fact that even though a lot of these elements have been seen before, they've never been done in quite the same way. And the level design is it's actually really well done. I have to say, I really love the level design as a whole. I just don't like the control. And I don't like the enemies either. Look at it. Oh god. He looked like he was dead. Eesh. I didn't know those lizards were that strong. My god. But anyway, obviously, it goes without saying, if you jump into the fire, you're gonna get burned, you're gonna die, and it's quite interesting, the animation when you die when you jump in the fire, because you just disintegrate. It's brutal as hell. It's amazing. And one of the big things that the Crash series eventually gets to do even more in the later games is actually include a lot of death animations. Now for this Crash Bandicoot game, obviously you only have like a limited amount of death animations, but even still, they're all pretty good. You have the standard spin around and die one whenever you get hit by an enemy. You also have one whenever you get burned, which will you burning into a crisp and then melting. Or disintegrating. Melting. Yes, I'm gonna burn and melt. Whoa, okay. Also, watch out for these pushers. They'll push you off the platform, and again, these levels are basically really timing based. What the hell? They're really timing based as long as you don't glitch through the blocks. So, just be careful while going through these stages. I can see so many people having issues. I've always had issues on these stages myself. They're quite tricky. And it's actually quite a nice bit of foreshadowing in the background there, because even though it's a very pixelated JPEG image for the background, you can actually see one of Cortex's castle. Actually, you can see the entire the third island of the game. And that's basically where we're heading to, so it's some nice foreshadowing there, I like it. But anyway, time for yet another bonus round. And for, just like most bonus rounds, basically boxes over bottomless pits. You get the gist at this point. Also, we get a lot, and I mean a lot, of bumper fruit for this. Now, you could either go about it the way most people would try to, which would be to get every one of those boxes, or you could do my way, which is the coward's way, but it's also the safe way of going, oh god, oh god, oh god, panicking, collecting as much as you can, and getting out of there. If someone touches you in a place that you don't like, that's no good. I always have to shoehorn a Sonic reference somewhere in these videos. But anyway, let's just continue moving onwards. It won't be too much further left until the end of the stage, I don't believe. Now, these platforms you can see me jumping on, be careful of them, because what they do is basically they'll break and not break. They'll sort of go towards your weight. So if you jump on one side, you'll fly downwards, and vice versa. So be very careful with those platforms. But there's a level over and done with. Not too bad a stage, to be perfectly frank. And let's just move on to the next level of the game, which is the Ruins, which is another new level trope. So yeah, the Temple Ruins is a new level trope, as I just said. Repeating myself, and I instantly get impaled. Now these levels are actually quite interesting, and they're very dark stages, and back in the day I used to have more trouble in these stages than I do now, which is kind of sad to say because I'm failing horribly right now. But basically, these stages are very dark. They're very, not say hard to see unless you have a very poor TV screen like I used to have when I was younger. But well, you're gonna find a lot of moving platforms in these levels in particular, and a lot of spike-based traps. Basically, it's very Indiana Jones-esque sort of stage where everything's going to be trying to stab you. You're going to see pits, you're going to see loads of little tricky platforming sections like this where everything's moving, and that's the major sort of idea between these levels. Plus the whole ancient ruin aesthetic, I really do love it. I think it's really well done. But of course you also get spiders. I shudder. Granted, I don't mind spiders too much, it's just whenever I know a spider's near me, I tend to freak. I don't like spiders being near me. I don't mind them if they're in the room, but if they're near me, oh my god, you should see me. Well, I'd rather you not see me if I'm like that, because I'm like, get away. But anyway, the level... Whoa, that was epic. The type of enemies you're going to expect to see in this level are snakes from these little pots and these holes in the ground. And spiders. The spiders basically hang there and do nothing. You don't really have to worry about the spiders at all. The bats also make a return, but the bats, they're not as often found in these stages as you'd expect. So the most of the time you're fighting the level design, because there's not many enemies to really deal with. It's just these traps. Of course, the snakes are kind of like the piranha plant flower things we saw previously in the First World, where they'll snap out of you and you just have to spin before they attack you. That's all there is to them. You also see a lot of these fire pots, and these fire pots are very awkward, shall we say, because you need to time your jumps properly, and Sometimes the camera isn't really the best. Like by here, the camera wasn't all that well done. And the major problem you're going to find from these particular levels is the depth perception. One major issue about Crash Bandicoot is the fact that there's not very good depth perception. Basically, it's very hard to tell where you are in correlation to a platform. So, if you can't tell, you can't tell where some of the platforms are in terms of comparison where you are. So you're either going to overshoot the platforms, or you're going to undershoot the platforms, you're going to land on a platform and then run off, and stuff like that happens all the time. And you might be wondering, what the hell am I looking at? Well, basically there's an apple floating on an abyss, and that's basically a clue to let you know, hey, there's hidden stuff over here. Although the difference is, well, I just fell, but the difference is with that is a lot of, whoa, yes, I don't want to live anymore. Oh, I lost my train of thought. The problem is, a lot of people who would see that floating apple would think that's a trap. I am not bothering to touch that apple. It's not worth my time. And there's a couple of segments in this game where they do tend to sneak things in areas where you wouldn't expect you'd be able to go. Fortunately, in the sequel, they stopped doing this, because that's one of the things about Crash Bandicoot 1 I don't like, because you kind of get unsure about yourself and where you can jump and where you can go. And I don't know, I don't like it. I like the game, I just don't like it when stuff like that's in there. And also, segments like this are very awkward. You got these moving platforms. Those sections look easy, but they're not. They're not. There's something you need like a 3DS screen to see where you're meant to jump properly. It's probably a bit easier to jump on the old PlayStation 1, but, you know, on the old TVs, the old consoles back in the day, but nowadays it's just hard to judge depth. That's all I find with this game. The later games do a much better job of actually judging depth, so these platforming sections like this are a lot easier. I think it's all to do with the camera though, because the camera's at such an awkward angle that you're going to try and jump somewhere and you're going to just not know because the camera's way too low or something like that. I think that's what the problem is, anyway. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just the camera's way too low. But anyway, another new level type, the road to nowhere. Woo! And the danger sign is really foreboding. Basically, this level, as the gimmick of this level is, you're basically going in a straight line the entire time. What's so weird about that? Well, basically, this straight line has extremely small draw distance. I like to call this the Nintendo 64 level. But basically, you're just going straight, and you got a lot of platforms on this bridge. Now, some of the platforms are icy, so you're going to slip off, and some of them are just normal platforms where they'll just break after a certain amount of time. And then you have these platforms with the holes in the middle. Some of them you can land on. Some of them you'll just fly straight through. You don't want to go on any of these platforms. You don't want to do this level. Basically, you need to be very good at precision platforming to get through the stage without any issues. I have never seen a playthrough where someone's got through this stage without dying, or at least without editing. So, but like this stage is hard. Very freaking hard. It's not one of the hardest stages in the game though, but I have seen people scream and rage at this stage in particular. This isn't the only one of this type as well. There's two of these in total in the game, I believe. So, yeah, have fun with that. Have a lot of fun. I know I did. And also be careful as well, because basically the best way I can say go about going through this is tapping the jump button very lightly while keep holding forward, because then you get a small hop between each platforms. It's not usually the best way to go about it, but it's how I tend to do these levels probably, because I don't know, it's just the way I've always done them, it's the way I've always managed to go through them. But fortunately we got a bonus round anyway that serves as a extra checkpoint for us, which we need. Also, be careful of those bouncing boxes as well, because if you get hit by the box as it's falling from one of these bouncing ones, like the metal crate falls on you, you're gonna get killed. Probably not as gruesome as that, but you'll get killed nonetheless. And unfortunately we didn't get our save point. It was around this point in the game where I wanted to desperately save, because when I was going to get ready for having a break, because I don't like recording a game so long. So I was getting ready for a break, but unfortunately I couldn't find the perfect time to save, so I ended up going quite far into the game anyway, saying screw it, I'll go as far as I can for the night. I'll do the rest in the morning. But there we go, there's this level done. Very awkward level indeed. I'm not a big fan. And next on my return, we're going to get access to the next boulder stage of the game. So with that, folks, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't be sheepish, people. And when we return, next time we'll go and do Boulder Dash. Oh, what a load of Boulder Dash. Thanks for watching, people. Hope you enjoyed. See you then. Bye!